Hey everyone, this is Gary Kayye. I am coming to you live on the show floor at DSE 2022, and this has been a great show, day 2. I'm now with Bryan Meszaros of OpenEye Global. Bryan, welcome
Gary.
to the rave station here.
Thank you for having me. This is very cool.
Yeah,
I
I appreciate it. Tell our viewers what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I run an agency called OpenEye Global. 21 years that we've been around for. So we're an experience design agency. We work through across a multitude of different verticals, but really it's create experiences that connect people to the place. So everything from interactives to experiential to large visuals is really what we specialize in.
Well, we have a sizzle reel that I want to play right now so that people get an idea of the kind of projects you work on because it's impressive.
Yeah.
All right, so let's run that.
My heart is beating fast right now. That creeps me out.
All right, so what is your favorite kind of project to work on? What do you love to do?
I really love, we've been doing a lot more storytelling and experiential walkthroughs.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've been very fortunate working with Madame Tussauds and the whole Merlin group and really kind of bringing to life these stories that people are somewhat familiar with, but now the opportunity to actually physically explore. And there's all these moments of how do we bring that story to life through technology, through traditional design tactics, and just different ways to kind of, it's just different. It's not, we're not merchandising, we're not selling something, we're telling a story.
So it sounds like you like doing different projects as opposed to doing the same project over and over and over again. Even though you can be more profitable doing the same
it's
over
true.
and over.
It's true, but you get into that rhythm where I think you just need to break. I think creatively, your mind needs to get
bored.
away from putting price tags on screens to actually doing something that's a little bit different than that.
So do you see, post-pandemic, do you see a lot more experiential projects coming into retail spaces because we have to find a new way to use the retail? Or are they using experiential to drive more people into the spaces where retail already exists?
I think it's both. I mean, I think before the pandemic, you always saw retail start to go more theatrical, especially in flagships, and it was less about having the product, but it was more about the brand and the brand story.
Yeah.
So I think that that trend is obviously picked
You mean
up
like
more.
what Nike store has done?
Nike stores,
the flagship stores.
Adidas has been doing that. I mean, other clothing brand stores have been doing that as well.
You must be a soccer player if you pronounce it Adidas.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
So we've worked with them, so that's. But
it is not Adidas. It is
Adidas.
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 Yes, go ahead.
No, I see a lot more in the experiential. I think a lot of brands are realizing that is what distinguishes them from their competitors, and I think they want to tell the story about the brand. They want to make a relationship. They want to make that kind of connection, and the only way really to do that is sort of some kind of experiential storytelling means. And so that's what drives traffic into the store. People want that experience. I think for pandemic, I mean, we're so cooped up.
Yeah.
And people wanted to experience something other than a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And so now you have this opportunity.
It's easy. Low-hanging fruit.
but I think it's good too, and I think they're realizing too is that not everyone is going to be getting on a plane and going to Disney. They're not going to here, but they have an opportunity to go to their local museums, the local retail stores, and kind of have these little moments and experiences that resonate, and then
it's
they're
interesting
shareable.
because what used to be the art museum, we're updating it because we have just a different culture of people.
Yeah.
Meaning, when our parents were going to museums, they expected to see artwork hanging on the walls. When we go to a museum, we expect the artwork to move.
Yeah.
We don't expect it.
No,
we don't have an appreciation
it's entirely
for
true.
that art.
Well, you have that expectation. I think everyone going somewhere now has that expectation of some type of unique moment that that's not going to be static. That is going to be blowing out. That's the wow factor. I'm going to take a picture of that. And I'm going to post that on. That's what people want.
Is your business mostly in the U.S. or are you global?
We have been actually doing more work over in Europe over the past couple
Well,
months.
I was going to ask you about that because Europe is ahead of the U.S. in retail signage, especially in experiential.
Yeah.
And also, I've noticed that they've done a better job using smaller footprint, meaning that the front of store is smaller. They're using a lot more technology to drive it. Back of store is larger. So they don't put much inventory up, but what they do is they find a creative way for you to pick what you're looking for. Is that the kind of stuff that you're working on?
That is. it's very much customer engagement, creative ways to create that engagement. A lot more with sensors too. One of the things we're kind of realizing is that people, are so used to touching a screen, and so you have to be creative in how you trigger those actions. So obviously, lift and learn's been around for a while, but then you use proximity sensors, you use other triggers, that capacitive sensors, things that you can touch that aren't digital, but then create a reaction on a display. And we're trying to bring a lot more of that into it to be very creative.
Yeah.
And what's nice is that we work very closely with fixture manufacturers and fabricators that are starting to kind of understand that that's something they need to think about.
So they need to offer it as a raw component rather than as you having to go in after the stores have been built.
Yeah.
Did you? One of the coolest projects I saw over the years was the Adidas footwear wall. Did that ever come out globally, or is that a concept where you'd lift the shoe and it would tell you all about the shoe, but then you could order it right from the screen? I do see that concept as the future. I think Apple's come the closest to that, right? Where you're standing there looking at a product, you scan a QR code, and you order it, and they bring it out to you from the back.
Yeah, it's Apple and the shoe concept and. But I still think the challenge you do have is there's a cost associated with it.
Yeah.
And so. You can make the argument, well, technology's cheaper, and it's like, great, but when you do a lot of it in a concentrated area.
And if you've done it once, you want to see something different the next time.
It's not that, it's also time for development as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a creative component to it, there's programming to it, but the solutions are there, and I think more retailers are just realizing that budgets need to change for that, and that there is a real, return on that kind of investment, back ultimately for them. So if there's a good strategy.
So if I'm an integrator, and I'm doing digital signage, and I've got a client that's come to me saying, hey, I want to do something cool in my storefront. Obviously, you're a great source for them to come to. How would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can find us online, openeyeglobal.com. We're all over Twitter at openeyeglobal as well. Very consistent with the openeyeglobal on Instagram. And then, I'm around as well, obviously on show floors.
And you should check out their Instagram, openeyeglobal, because you'll see some cool projects. Check them out online, and of course, thanks for watching. All of our DSE coverage is at ravepubs.com. Just click on the DSE link.